Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfalla.
And Ray Alfalla is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.
Hello and welcome to Apex Racing TV and the Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbek. We're here for the penultimate round of the championship from Sonoma as we head into the Californian doubleheader to round off this season 4 of the championship. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick, Sam Kumo operating the cameras tonight as well. We're very happy to have you with us for this evening's racing, which will bring us a couple of races closer to the conclusion of this championship and finding out who is becoming the team's pro and amateur champions for this season. Right away, this is the championship situation. This is what it's all about. It could barely be closer. Danny Lee at the top of the standings, runner-up last season to Tom McMahon, but at the head of the standings at the moment with a 10-point advantage. That is a minuscule advantage, and really any of the top 3 are pretty much even with one another, with Sven Newman, who's been under the radar, in second place but looking strong. Matteo Fulini has led the championship for a long time, or at least been second best to Alexei Nesov earlier on in the championship. Yet to win a race, so far, Fulini, but up there in third, and Nikos Laubic, perhaps the man in form out of those top 4. There in 4th position. Make Palic probably a bit too far behind, and Alexei Nesov, you can see there in 6th place, missing several of the past few rounds, missing tonight as well. He is out of the championship running, and he'll just be hoping that his teammate Laubic can win the championship on his behalf. In the amateur championship, it's not a 4-way battle, but it is still a 2- or 3-way battle. Jensen Adjunsson's establishing a little bit of a lead. Steve Burke has had some problems in the last couple of meets, meetings and has gone from the championship lead to second place. But this amateur championship has ebbed and flowed so much through the season that really that could easily change again. Kevin Kittelman still in with a chance in third place, and probably Bingham, Becker and Galmetzer out of the running, albeit all having strong opportunities at winning amateur races undoubtedly. We're currently in a 10-minute qualifying session, 2.5 more minutes to go for this one, and it's this man, Nicholas Laubisch, on pole position, as we have seen several times this season, even against his own teammate Alexei Nesov. In the races, Nesov has usually had the advantage, but Laubisch beating Fulini at the moment. It was Fulini who took pole position last time out at Spa, but Laubisch still managed to get that race 1 victory. Just a reminder as well of the format that we have for this championship, with a 25 minutes race 1 preceding a 40-minute race 2, which will have a reverse grid as well, and tonight a particularly big one of 24, so it's going to be unpredictable racing tonight undoubtedly, and a lot of troubles for the drivers potentially. And also a big shout out to Colbek Systems as well, our sponsor for this championship. And if you're looking to upgrade your IT software, your business IT software, check out Colbek, because they've been working with IT managers from across the UK for a couple of decades already, and they can get you easy savings on Microsoft 365, Altaro, Google Workspace, and all of that stuff, anything that runs your business IT. So do check out colbek.co.uk, and a massive thanks to them for helping out on the series, providing prize money as well for the championship winners, and also the top 3 in both the professional and the amateur standings in each race. So we're 9 minutes into the session now, and this is where it really comes down to Laubisch still on pole position, but he runs wide there. That's going to be a 1x, and his chances gone of an improvement. Matteo Fulini, probably the most likely man to challenge him. Once that 10 minutes comes up, that's it for the drivers. So everyone who's currently on and out lap, everyone who's in the pits, no more opportunities for them. And this would be absolutely huge for poor Fulini. He has already got a pole position this season, like I said, at Spa last time out. But around this tricky to overtake Sonoma circuit, it might be his route to a race 1 win. But by a tiny margin, he is short. 8/1000 short of pole, and that time he was another 3/100ths of a second short. You do not get a whole lot closer than that without getting pole position. Championship leader Danny Lee, currently in 6th position. He needs to get up there, but the checker flag comes out, and it's another underwhelming qualifying for Lee. He did take 2nd place and the championship lead in race 2 at Spa, but he's going to have some work to do in this race 1. So here's the grid then, and it's one of the closest qualifyings of the season. Nicholas Laubisch on pole position. He's the man who's got the most work to do, of course, and he's put himself in a good position straight away. Matteo Fulini lines up in 2nd position. Then it is Sven Newman, Make Paluch, Vin Glenn, Danny Lee, Matthias Beer, James Crouch and Tom Brown. Jensen Adjinsons is top of the amateur drivers. Then it's Dara Adjinsons, Marco Tolman in 12th, Drew Becker, Kevin Kittelman, Stephen Broomfield, Steve Burke, John Tressida, Tom Bingham, Brent Cook, Tom Collins, Brian Crone, Chris Prescott, Dave Chadwick, Andy Thompson, Sean Simpson, Dean Powell and Chris Van der Nesse rounding out the order. Those bottom 2 starting from the pits for this opening race of the evening, as my heart rate did just increase a moment there because I didn't see the pace car at the front of the order. I was thinking, dearie me, we got a standing start on our hands. We do not have a standing start. That is the pace car, the lovely Ford Mustang pace car, so fast that often it can disappear from view. It's really is quite a beast, is that one. And yeah, Nicholas Laubisch at the front of this order. We're going to have a full formation lap here before we get underway for the racing. Very much thanks for tuning in for this one. Of course, once again, anyone new to the series, 25-minute sprint race to start off the evening. You do not have a pit stop in this first race. It's all lights to flag. In fact, it's the same case for the second race as well. Unless, of course, you pick up some damage, in which case there is a faster fare, and it could be quite a problem as well, the damage for these drivers, because this narrow and not very big runoff area Sonoma Raceway can certainly inflict a bit of damage onto each of these GTE machines. So we do get underway on this pace lap, and you can start to appreciate the majestic nature of this Sonoma Raceway. It's not used too much for these cars, safe to say, in the iRacing world, and we have gone to our fair share of kind of narrow circuits this season. So now, in fact, that they're just going single file up the first few corners on this formation lap. But yeah, going to be quite a challenge for these drivers, and you'll notice that we're not using the most common layout. Even NASCAR, I believe, now use the infield section where you go right and then plunge downhill into a long left-hander carousel type bend. Here we go a little bit further and we go onto the old NASCAR course. Just a couple of 90-degree corners, about a 90-degree corner and then a hairpin, and then we get into the S's section. Probably not going to really change the racing too much, frankly. Maybe one less overtaking opportunity, but at the same time might be a bit easier to stay close through that section and be close going through this S's section. But yeah, that hairpin at the end of the lap, perhaps the main opportunity, but safe to say, compared to the circuit that we visited a fortnight ago at Spa, overtaking is going to be much more tricky, and that will be great news for Nicholas Dalbish. Bad news for this man though, Danny Lee, who is finally into the lead of the championship for the first time in his Apex Racing League GT career. But he's got plenty of work to do from 6th place, alongside Vin Glenn in only his second meeting in Apex Racing League history. But it's the Urano Esports car that we're going to be focusing on this start. It's Nicholas Dalbish with another pole position, and he storms away. Very early start for him, and it's enabled him to get quite a gap over the rest of the drivers. Fulini trying to hold back Newman. That is crucial for the championship, and the Italian just about manages to do that through the first few corners. Lee having to hold back Beer, and remarkably, there's not been a single change through the first couple of corners, but Daniel Lee is trying to put an end to that at the moment. He's alongside Ving Glenn. Not a good exit for either of them, but Beer can't make it through wide as Lee now goes on the inside, bundling over the curbs there. And oh, we've got a spinner in the background, and that could be where it's Becker. I thought it might be Jensen's Adjensons, but Drew Becker, who's been in a rich vein of form for much of this season, with an off early on, and that is a shame for Indy Autosport right there. So still the top 12 then, no changes. It was quite a shock to see no changes down the order for the first corner, especially seeing how early we saw the leader go. But very few changes so far, not too many drivers making good progress. That is Jensen Adjensons though. I thought he may have had a problem beforehand. He sure has had a problem this time, because he's into the pits. He's had to, well, he hasn't had to tow, but he has had to drive into the pits, and this is huge for the championship. In fact, apologies, it's Tara Adjensons, and for some sort of reason I took it for granted that it was Jensen's, but it is Tara Adjensons, and Jensen's does continue on his way in the lead of that amateur category. Brian Crone trying to make his way up through the order. Not usually the strongest qualifier is Crone, but of course the race winner back at Montreal earlier on in the season, as Dan Adjenson's back on his way. It is a reverse grid of 24 for the second race, so as long as you do finish up in the top 24, you're going to have a good chance at a strong result for race 2, and expect a few problems for drivers, so I imagine Dan will be able to get himself up there later on, as Brian Crane is all over the back of Brent Cook at the moment. Amateur driver versus pro driver, as indicated by the timing by the timing tower. And as we've got Chester into the wall, and that is one of the problems, as here comes Newman. Oh, Newman's gone deep though. He's going to drop down. Now can Glenn get past? No, he can't. He's way too far back. But that was an attempted move, and you can see already, well, a little bit of team games here. Course Sim Racing changing places. Palace just set the fastest lap of the race, but he realises that it's Newman who's going for the championship, so lets him back past. And that's the advantage of having your teammate right behind you. Further down the order though, no teammates can help John Chessard here though, as he has come up with one of the most common mistakes around the circuit, dipping a wheel onto the grass, or the gravel really. Wow, and he's got out of there. Well, that's pretty mad. I thought those tire walls were a bit like a black hole. They even light couldn't escape from them. But he has managed to absolutely turn on the afterburners there and get out of the tire barrier. Well, whatever is powering that Porsche. I think, the space station needs to get onto it, because that was absolutely monumental right there. But you can see the stream of cars out in the lead of this race. Nicholas Laubich really not pulling away from the rest of the order, and everyone down to 7th place. No cars separated by more than a second. And Big Glenn as well, really gaining a little bit of time on these drivers at the moment, in 5th position, fastest lap of the race. Just his 2nd meeting in this race, and no disrespect to Ben, he wasn't that great at Spa. You know, he was running just outside the top 10, I believe, on that occasion. He is back to some of the best in the series right now. Laubich, Bulini, Newman and Lee, of course, the championship contenders, and he has got as much pace, maybe even more pace than them at the moment. Still leader of the amateur category is Jensen Adriansen. Torman having one of his best showings of the season as well. And well, it is really majestic to see all these cars cycle through this Sonoma circuit, as Dean Powell has had a problem a little bit further back. Just a short excursion for him. I think he's all right. Broomfield, though, is under pressure. Broomfield with a couple of podiums so far this season. Experienced driver in this league. I think was around in American GT as far back as that. But battles going on behind him. Burke and Kittleman, who are 2nd and 3rd in the amateur championship, as I think Broomfield maybe even tapped the wall there. That was certainly very close if he did not. Yeah, Burke having to hold back Kittleman at the moment, who does have an interest, as Beer has had an off. Oh, well, that's and I feel like going off the circuit. It's very common around any of these corners, as he has to hesitate, Matthias Beer. Remember, he did win back at Donington, when he had a very advantageous reverse grid place. Well, this will give him a very advantageous reverse grid place, because he's back in 20th position after that one would start 5th on the grid for race 2. But he is a man who wants to score points. He is the man in what will be going up into 5th position in the championship, I believe, with of course the problems for Alexei Nesov not being able to attend recently. So I'm sure that will be a disappointment for him, as we see Drew Becker in 22nd place, and he is battling with Thompson just ahead. Andy Thompson representing the Ford GT very well, and we are very grateful for his representation of that car. However, he is quite a bit slower seemingly than Becker, who can't quite get past. I mean, you can see there Thompson isn't exactly covering up the inside line, but it's just so narrow there, and it's so scary as well to go for a move. I mean, you're heading into that corner in these cars at probably 150 miles an hour. There's no runoff. I certainly can't imagine any circuits nowadays would be built like this. There's no runoff for the drivers, and so you do lock up a brake very easy to find the wall on the outside. As Chadwick, just ahead of these drivers, has had a problem. Oh, there he is, just getting back underway. It's just so kind of treacherous whenever you dip a wheel onto the grass around this circuit, apologies, again, the gravel. It is really tricky, and apologies for the slight excursion in commentary, but this place does sometimes have grass around it, and anyone who saw the, I think it was IMSA, no, it wasn't IMSA, it was some kind of series around this place. It was all green. It was all green around this place. I much prefer it when it was green, so I would like a graphics update. Oh, that is Becker. Well, how did he not hit Thompson there? Thompson still trying to go defensive, but Becker this time finds the inside. And, wow, that was very nearly very bad for the Indy Autosports driver. And now it's Simpson who's trying to get past, but Simpson with a little bit of a poor exit. Currently, Van der Nesse on reverse grid pole, as he always does. Van der Nesse does always get reverse grid pole, and not deliberately either, but he always manages to find himself up there, so he is looking pretty good. What's happening at the front, meanwhile, because it is close. can see it for yourself. And I will remind everyone, and for tonight, I'm sure Sam Kimo is as well, very impartial about the results. I'm sure Peter Mackay is, I'm sure Alex Skinner is, our commentator this season. However, it would be immense if in a 24 race season, Matteo Fulini could win the championship without winning a race. And let's say, so what someone in the commentary box, not pointing fingers, knows how that's done. But it would be cool to see in an Apex Racing League event for the first ever time someone to do that. So I'm sure Fulini could not give a jot. Frankly, he wants to get past and go into the lead and get himself some more points. But look how close it is as well. Even Lee at the back of this, who looks very quick in 6th place, just cannot do anything. And at the moment, none of these guys can do anything. The closest we got to an overtake was on lap 2 of the race when Newman went for an outside move on Fulini into the hairpin. And that's been about it. And even on that occasion, he ended up going fairly wide and lost out the position to his teammates. So, always we've got a problem for Prescott. And Collins may have been involved in that one because he was a little bit, well, this is teammates. Come on, guys, what are you playing at? This is Tom Collins up the inside. Oh, it's Netcode. Well, Netcode's clearly not on their team, not on their side. And, well, I wonder if he'll slow down to let him pass. It doesn't seem like he has done, and wisely so, because, yeah, that would be pointless. But, they've saved their embarrassment there. We'll save them with the replay. Stephen Broomfield, meanwhile, he's still just ahead of Steve Burke, so no change on this one. But, he's under pressure, and he's all squirrely about as well. And look at Kittelman. Oh, he needs to try to get past Burke if he can. And there's contact, and Burke is into the wall. 2nd place in the championship. Steve Burke has got problems here. And, well, he's not going to have so much damage that he can't continue, that he's going to need the faster pair, but he's waiting. Here comes his teammates, and he's doing the wise thing, trying to get back onto track in a good fashion. No doubt they'll be in a Discord together. But, again, it does boost your reverse grid place, but you need to get the points on the board when you can. And Burke desperately needed some points tonight, and with his championship rival, Jensen Adjenson's up in the lead of the amateur category, that is not what the British driver needed. I'm sure Prescott will be letting him go. He's for Burke, as we can see on the onboard. He has got him damaged, but here comes another Indy Autosport driver. Well, they're not giving him a moment's rest, are they? It's almost as though they have an interest in docking him down a few places. And it is Drew Becker who moves ahead there. Of course, Becker is an exceptionally fast driver. Was one of the highest placed amateur drivers on the grid, but had a problem at the start, and that is Burke down into 20th place now. And I wonder if we could just get a replay actually of Burke losing some places with that off, and see kind of if it was Kittelman's fault or whether it was Burke's fault. And of course, I'm joking that Indy Autosport may have an interest. I'm sure that's not factoring into their driving. And of course, Indy Autosport's going for the championships as well in the amateur category. They don't want any penalty points. Penalty points will stick with you, and potentially if the stewards do decide that that was a penalty offence, he could be in tricky water there, good Kittelman. He's most likely out of the championship, drivers' championship at least, but yeah, you don't want to throw away 5 points in the team's championship either if you can possibly avoid it. Back with the front runners then, and Newman's looking very quick as they really go very awkwardly over that curve. I thought there might be a better way of going over that curve, frankly, but it seems like just bundling over it with all 4 tyres is really the only way to do it. But seemingly Newman might be the fastest out of these drivers. And in qualifying, I think it was something like 8/100ths of a second separating these guys. It was so close, and we saw that second attempt as well for Fulini. So Fulini's fast this lap. Ooh, as we see, wow. Okay, I thought Newman just kept on not braking there. Move was never really on. I thought he was going to back out of it, but he's lost a few yards there. As Lee now is right on the tail. This is as close as Lee's got, and this is where you can make the move round the outside through turn 1. But Glenn just taking his racing line, had to do nothing out of the ordinary there, but he's wide again. He can't really overtake around this part of the circuit. It's just a bit too flying, and Glenn's offline again. He's giving Lee some ideas here, and now we see if this part of the circuit, which does not usually run around this track, is available. Surely this hairpin is an opportunity for Lee, who used to be a bit of an error-prone driver. I'm sure that Danny would agree with that. This season he has been faultless though. And maybe the Daniel Lee of a couple of seasons ago would have gone for the dive into the hairpin there, but instead he is just waiting behind. I can't help but feel that hairpin is almost better than the final hairpin, because at least if you mess up the first hairpin, then you're not going to end up in a wall. Whereas this one, if you lock a brake, you always, as wide goes Glenn. Oh, I wonder if that was that deliberate? Did he let him go? Is it the alliance of the blue cards? I'm not quite sure. But there goes Glenn, and he lets past Lee, and that is not going to be good news for his German compatriots right there, because Lee's up into 5th place, and that's a couple of extra points for him for the championship. Meanwhile, Michael Tolman and Stephen Broomfield are super close to one another. It was down to a 10th of a second for just a moment there, but it is still Tolman into 10th place, and actually Broomfield's caught up this gap. He was a little bit behind previously, but he's been able to catch up since, and he's actually done a very good job at dropping Kissman. Of course, Kissman had that issue with Burke, so I imagine that didn't help Kissman, but I don't think it sets him back too much. And then you got the top of the performance Link Esports drivers just behind as well of Mr. Tom Bingham driving just behind. Becker has had a problem. Unforced error there. Haven't made many Boris Becker puns this season. I've run out. Frankly, there's only so many turns puns you can make, and I made them all about 6 months ago. But there was the error from Drew Becker, and well, I mean, that could just be in the middle of the Californian desert right there. Death Valley? I believe that's in California. Might be in Nevada, not sure. But it looks like he was out there because he was quite far away from the circuit. Dara Adjinson's, oh, this is for reverse grid pole. Dara Adjinson's currently on reverse grid pole. We've had remarkably few retirees. John Chester's retired, but apart from that, he's the only driver who's actually towed back. Simpson and Becker and Adjinson's all had to hit 4 pairs, but everyone else being very clean. Oh, that's a move, and that is contact. Well, it was netcode, really. And, well, it's always going to be ambitious there. And crucially, Becker up into 24th place. So despite that mistake then from Becker, it could still be a reverse grid pole. And of course, that would mean it would be an Indy Autosport 1-2 on the grid. That would be a huge advantage, actually. And because remember, Jensen Adjinson's in the championship, hunt 2nd place in the championship in the amateur standings. So if he had Becker around there as well, then that would be a huge gift. And of course, we did see Drew Becker win his first ever race last summer at Spartan. Apologies, Drew, for not mentioning that so far in this broadcast. But yeah, he did win his first race at Spartan, the first ever amateur winner as well on an Apex Racing League GT event, as far as I'm aware. Van den Esse has just got past Prescott. Yep. It's taking him, well, yeah, he's been working away at that one for a while. And he's finally up into 18th position then. And, well, already pulling a gap, actually, is Van den Esse. He wants to score some points with performance thing. I'll look at it. We don't have the team standings available to view, but I might have a look at the team standings later on, because it's very close at the moment. Of course, Sim Racing battling for the overall team's title. It certainly looks like it's going to be heading their way, because I mean, where you've got drivers finishing in 3rd and 4th every race, that's very impressive. As here is Palach and Lee. Wow, Danny really does have some pace tonight. Was the highest scoring driver, I believe, from Spa. It's only one of the highest scoring. He managed to get a 4th and a 2nd as the defensive move from the core sim racing driver, and he really wants to keep him behind. Palach is out of the championship running, but his teammate Newman has still got a great chance. 2 points extra would go to Daniel Lee if he could pull off this overtake. And Palic, I think, has held Lee up enough so that Lee wouldn't be able to catch up to Newman, but just an extra car between them would be of great use. I'm sure Palic wouldn't be willing to have an incident as Lee just has a look up the inside trying to put his rival offline. Palic, cool head as anything, thinking I'm going for that, and he takes the hairpin particularly impressively. So he try and pass the drag strip. Itchy hosts everything, does this circuit. I believe there's something like 300 events a year around this track. It's absolutely crazy. Of course, NASCAR, IndyCar. I'm sure if IndyCar visit here actually. I think they do actually, or they used to visit here at least. IMSA, I believe, visits here. And quite a few other circuits have visited this track, and of course drag racing, like I said, very prominent here at Sonoma. And so yeah, really versatile for any sorts of racing. And of course, I believe there's a rallycross circuit as well. I'm not sure if it's in real life, but so on iRacing there's a rallycross circuit around this place. So yeah, absolutely facilitates everything, apart from the oval, of course. So Palic actually dropping Lee there. I wonder if Danny's happy to stay for the 5th. I mean, it is, you know, I know it's a close championship and they keep on making the point. Oh, every point counts, but 2 points compared to the risk of a non-finish. Maybe Danny's happy to stay in 5th position for this one, and of course get the extra place on the grid, albeit when you're starting so far back as these drivers will be in, you know, 20th and 21st position, 19th and 20th position, I believe. There's not really that much of an advantage anyway from that far back. Brendan Cook has driven absolutely superbly. He's been a great addition to the series this season, and he has spent the entire race with Brian Crane all over the back of him. Matthias Beer is now with these guys. And of course, Beer had the problem earlier on in the race, and has been really impressive as Beer. I mean, if the season started at like round 6, I think Beer would be fighting for the title right now. He won at Donington, of course, like I said earlier on. I think he got 2 podiums at Indianapolis. He should have really won at Barber race 2, but he got punted by Alexei Nesov, I believe. Still ended up in 2nd place, to be fair, in that race. So he has been very good, and he's just caught up to these drivers. Well, actually caught up to them a couple of laps ago. But so far hasn't really been able to make much of an impression for the Racerholics team. But still very close are these 3 drivers, like Cook as well, just losing a few meters there through the hairpin. Starting to spread out by the way out in the lead. Laubish now 1 second clear of the rest of the order. I mean, still, the slightest there, even a lockup would, I mean, even that's a little bit leery from Laubish sliding through the hairpin. He did lose about a 10.5 just through that corner, but it is looking fairly good for him. And remember, it's Laubish 4th place in the championship in this going into this meeting. It's him who's got to score the big points in order to make up the points and go for the title. He's doing a good job of that at the moment. And of course then Fellini, Newman, Palic still holding off Lee fairly comfortably. Back to Tolman though. Well, in fact we were watching Cook and Crone, but there's kind of 2 good battles at the moment. We've got the Tolman Broomfield Kittelman battle, and then we've got the Cook Crone Beer battle. And here we go. Oh, outside line. Good luck, Mr. Kevin Kittelman. He's trying to get the cut back there, but he can't really see where that big BMW is. I mean, I think if you had a telescope, you could probably see it from Australia, but at least on that circumstance, the visibility inside the cockpit just hindering, I think, there. And there's quite a weak cutback there for Kittelman, who would have probably been wiser just going for the outside line, albeit saying that you are just being asked to be pushed into the wall in that scenario. Certainly Broomfield though does look like the slower of these drivers, and Kittelman, 3rd place in the Amateur Championship. He'll still believe that he could win this title. Has finished in the top 3 on multiple occasions in the Amateur Championship as Kittelman. Terrific driver, started off the season great, had a little bit of a slump in the middle part of the season, and hasn't quite been able to recover, but I mean, so many drivers in the amateur category have had problems. I don't think Kevin will be feeling too sorry for himself whatsoever. And of course, his teammate Jensen Adjenson's currently in the lead of this race. There's a slide right there. As a little bit further back, this is Prescott being overtaken by Dean Powell. Oh, what's with the... Well, that looked like netcode as well. And Prescott is based in Wales, and I know that they are living in the 18th century in Wales. And by the way, I can make that joke because I live in Norfolk, so it's we're worse. We're in the 17th century is what I'm saying. So I can make that joke about Wales. But the connection there seems to be poor. What has happened to Adjenson's? It's all right. I was totally overreacting. He highlighted red for a moment. I thought he'd been off the circuit. But in fact, he is all right. Still, Beer, though, trying to get past. In fact, Crane got past Cook. That one has spent... That took the entire race to make that move from behind Crane. He's done it though finally. I think we should warrant it with a replay as well, because I'm sure Brian will be particularly happy with this one. And I'm curious as to where he's managed to get it done, because so far he's run out of ideas. I wonder if this is a mistake from Mr. Brent Cook. He kinda... Oh no, he's on the power too early and just avoids the wall. Well, that was probably Brent Cook's worst corner of his career, because he went in too deep, he turned in too late, and he went on the power too early. Had to lift out, and then he hit the wall. Pretty disappointing there for Cook, but still, he avoided mistakes for a long time there, did the Cook Racing driver, so valiant effort from the American. We are into the last lap of this race. In fact, it'll be close, but the white flag was being waved, so this will be it, regardless of whether we're short of the 25 minutes or not. And Nicholas Laubich, who entered this race in 4th place in the championship, I think he's still going to be 4th place in the championship, but it's going to be him who takes the lead, takes the win, and crucially cut down the championship loss. It is Nicholas Laubich who wins yet again here, this time at Sonoma. He beats Fulini, who still remains winless. Newman scores good points. And it's Palic who crucially takes a couple of points off championship leader Danny Lee. Here comes Kittelman. He's tried everything, but it's not going to work. And he did go for the outside that time, to be fair, but it did not work for him. And it will be Broomfield to hold off. Some terrific battles from some of the most experienced drivers we have in the field. And Beer was just short. Maybe he needed that one extra lap on Brent Cook. Steve Burke needs the points. He's 50-odd short of Jensen Adjenson's after Adjenson's has just taken the win here, but he will just about beat Dean Powell to the line. And I think Powell, one of the dark horses maybe, for reverse for race 2, because we will have a 24-car reverse. And will be looking particularly dangerous, I think, from that position. As there's the leader. And of course we head over to warm-up. So we have a 5-minute warm-up, but we'll go through the results for that race 1. And here they are. Nicholas Laubich winning out by 0.6 of a second. Oh, it was close, wasn't it, throughout? That qualifying made the difference. And qualifying this season hasn't really been that important. I mean, pole position, I think, has lost most of the races, but it proved decisive that Fulini in 2nd place remains winners, but that is another good race 1 for him. Sven Newman in 3rd place, Meg Patch in 4th, and Dane Lee in 5th. That means that the order was the reverse of the championship, if you get what I mean. So the top 4 in the race were like the wrong order? Hopefully someone understands what I'm saying, but it was interesting. It's good for the championship. Finn Glenn was a stellar 6th place there, only 7 seconds off the lead. Then it was James Crouch. Apologies, James. I don't think we've seen James all day long. I forgot he was in the race, and so too Tom Brown, but they were very under the radar in 7th and 8th. So apologies, guys. Then it was Jensen Adjenson's, Marco Tolman. Of course, Adjenson's winner of the amateur category and extends his amateur championship lead. Then it was Tolman, Broomfield, Kitzman, Bingham, Crone, Cook, Beer, Van den Essay, Collins, in 19th position was Steve Burke, then was Dean Powell, Dave Chadwick, Derek Adjinsons, Drew Becker. Chris Prescott will start on reverse grid pole. Scoring points will be Andy Thompson and Sean Simpson. And somehow we only had the one retiree, John Tressida, who crashed into the wall, then got himself out somehow using some like warp speed stuff, and but still retired. So check. He was in 27th place. So one of our sponsors for this series and on Apex Racing TV generally is Virtual Racing School, and they help us out quite a bit. They help us out on Apex Racing Academy as well, and we're going to show you a little bit of a trailer just to show what Virtual Racing School offer to its subscribers. So you'll watch this trailer in for a little bit, but then we'll be back with you in just a moment on Apex Racing TV for race 2 of the evening.
Are you new to sim racing, or maybe a veteran struggling to reach the next level? Have you ever wondered how the aliens reach impressive lap times that seem impossible to achieve? If so, you're not alone. Most drivers reach a certain level and get stuck. But getting faster on track is easier than you think. VRS coaches are some of the best sim racers in the world and offer one-on-one driver skills training at affordable rates to help new drivers learn the basics and help experienced drivers break through to the next level. Are you ready to get faster and get off the iRating roller coaster? If so, VRS one-on-one personal training is for you. If you've invested in your equipment, it might be time to invest in yourself. Just go to virtualracingschool.com and sign up for a 30, 60 or 90-minute session with one of our world-class coaches, and you'll learn exactly what to do for faster lap times and more podiums.
Welcome back to the Apex Racing League GT Championship presented by Colbek. You just saw trailers for Virtual Racing School and Apex Racing Academy. Big thanks to both of them for helping us out on Apex Racing TV. And check them out, because the great thing about the two of them is that they're integrated within one another. So I think one of the best things about Apex Racing Academy that certainly I found is the fact that whenever you load into a session, all the setups, all the replays, all that stuff gets downloaded automatically. You don't have to go and drag files to be downloaded and all of that stuff. It's all there straight away. And Virtual Racing School has some terrific telemetry software as well, some data analysis software. So if you get a subscription for both, you can use both, and you can get the best of both worlds. So do check out both of them, and big thanks for helping us out on Apex Racing TV and on Apex Racing League in particular. So we are just gridding up then for race 2 of the evening. This one's going to be 40 minutes in length, and once again, I forgot to say my name is Sam Fitzpatrick. Alongside me is Samueli Kumo, who is operating the cameras. And we were just saying off camera how race 1 was so clean. Race 2 might be problematic, as I've set a low bar. But the drivers have set a very high bar, and that's the problem. But there is Chris Prescott on pole position for this race 2. Then it's Drew Becker in second place. Dar Adjinsons lines up in third. Beck could go for another win here. He won at Spa from reverse grid pole. He's starting in second place there. Darren Hutchinson starts in third. Next, Dave Chadwick. Dean Powell, watch out for him. I'd love to see him fight for a win. Steve Burke, who really needs a good result, honestly. I mean, Long Beach, anything could happen, but Burke desperately needs to get some points out of Jensen Adjensens if he can. Tom Collins lines up in 7th place against Chris van der Nesse, Matthias Beer, Brent Cook, Brian Crone, Tom Bingham, Stephen Broomfield. In fact, my screen's coming up wrong, but I'll read it off here. Marco Tolman, Jensen Adjensens. Watch out for Jensen's because he's right in the mix of it, but he is the amateur championship leader. Then it's Tom Brown, James Crouch, who I feel we should show a lot of because we didn't see any of Crouch or Brown in race 1 because they're so under the radar. Vin Glenn, Danny Lee, Mick Palach, Sven Newman, Matteo Fulini, and Nicholas Laubisch round out the top 24. I mean, 20th down to 24th, top 5 in the championship, of course. So watch out for all of them. Then it's Andy Thompson, Sean Simpson, and John Chester rounding out the order. For those people who are just tuning in, this is the penultimate round of the championship. We've had 10 rounds already this season, and the championship is pretty much a dead heat between the top 4 in the series. So it is, we are absolutely being pleasured to an incredible end to the season. And the last round is Long Beach, so it could all change, but the points coming out of this round could be absolutely decisive in the championship. Yeah, we've had 20 races already this season. There's barely anything in it, and we've seen plenty of different race winners as well. Will we see a repeat race winner in this one? Will we see Drew Becker get back to the top? Will we see Beer storm through? Will we see Crone storm through? Will we see one of the championship contenders storm through? Or will we see a new winner for this third to final race of the season? So it is Prescott on the pole, remember, and accidentally, I think, Becker really pulling ahead, but now we see a massive advantage for the odd drivers on the grid, and it is a 3-wide start further down the order, and the drivers are going to do very well to avoid contact. But it's Chris Prescott who leads away for Wales. It's Darrell Adjensens in 2nd place, already gets him past Drew Becker, but they are teammates, of course. Wide those goes Prescott, and Adjensens is into the lead, and that is fantastic news there for Darrell Adjensens, who started in 3rd place, but he's into the lead as Prescott looks very shaky in 2nd position. Good start from Matthias Beer, who will certainly be fighting for this race win, up 3 places from his start already, up into 6th. There goes into 2nd place Drew Becker, up the inside. Can he get it stopped? He can. Oh, as Dean Powell was nearly up the inside, and Powell might be held up a bit here as Collins moves up into 4th position, and that is good news for the Team Lizard cars, who now run 3rd and 4th. Maybe they can help each other out a bit there. Matthias Beer not wasting any time. He's already up a few places. He's going to try to make up another place on Dean Powell here, but he has to just wait behind. Mighty start for James Crouch for 6th position. Remember him as into the pit. It's a jump start for Steve Burke, or something happening for Steve Burke. That is dreadful news for 2nd place in the Amateur Championship, as I think Crouch has just hit the wall. I'm not quite sure. Has he got any damage? No, he's fine. Okay, he was just running very wide there. I thought he was heading into the wall there. He's up into 12th position, up 6 places, like I said. Crone is off the circuit. It's not going to be another race win for Crone, as they're all over the place. It's the performance sim racing drivers colliding a bit. There is Crone, and he's right to the back of the order. He might even fall behind Burke, who's already come into the pits. Oh, maybe it was a drive-through penalty. I don't know what happened to Burke. This was all... No, it was involved. So here's the... Oh, no, it's Van der Nesse up the inside, and then the 2 performance cars came together, and frankly we're lucky that that wasn't worse, because one of the drivers went off the circuit and the others managed to kind of point themselves in the right way. Crone with a bunch of damage as well, and that's a shame for him. Chadwick is off the circuit. Chadwick had gone under the radar, had a terrific start. Oh, actually it wasn't a great start. He did start in 4th place to Chadwick, but he was still doing all right in the top 10. And now he's got to try to get to the pits. Don't try to go into the pits, Dave. It's not worth it. He won't be able to make it unless maybe he's actually all right with damage. Bundles of cars go past. So closely matched are these drivers. And yeah, Chadwick, I think, with a damaged car, just trying to get it back round another lap. Laubisch up into 14th place. In fact, it's been a poor start for Danny Lee, who started top of the championship contenders. You can see there, Lee just gaining the 3 place. Laubisch up 10, Newman up 9. Fulini has also got ahead, hasn't he? Where is I am totally going blind. No, Fulini's had a problem. So Fulini's had to come into the pits on the first lap, and he is miles behind. That is huge for the third place man in the championship, who is going to be scoring a smattering of points as Paluch's round. That's not good for core sim racing for the team's championship. And you can see that, again, it's another performance-linked driver off, albeit he hasn't contributed to this one. And this was with Danny Lee. And Paluch went for the move. Well, that's the big old curb. Whoever thought this configuration was a good idea, it must have been off their mind. Because that curve has caused, well, it too hasn't caused that many problems for the drivers, but you can see how it can cause problems for the drivers with really unsettling the car right there. So Lee got through that one, and that is crucial, and it would be delighted to see Paluch away, because I'm sure Paluch would have been a big thorn in his side through the race. So in terms of the championship contenders then, Laubish, who entered this round in 4th in the championship, he's currently in 14th. Newman, who entered this round of the championship in 2nd place, he's up in 12th. And then we've got Lee, who entered this round as the lead of the championship, he's in 16th, and Fulini, who entered in 3rd, is at the back. I did that in no specific order. I'm sure that hasn't particularly helped everyone, but basically it's very close, and this is good news for Newman, who might be in the lead of the championship at the end of this meeting. Which he hasn't been for the whole season. Yeah, Newman, he hasn't been at the lead of the championship for the whole season. I think he's only won one race, I believe. As Beer has just got up into 3rd position. But I am surprised how quite spread out the drivers are. I mean, they're all in a line, but I mean, there's not that many battles going on, mate. As Beer going the long way around, he's actually lost out there to Collins. So Collins retaliating. That's not what Beer needs, because he can see Adjinson's up the road. Derek Adjinson's. Could we really see another amateur winner? I mean, we go 5 odd seasons without seeing an amateur driver win a race. And now, we might have a circumstance where we've got 2 in 2 meetings. James Crouch is trying to prove that wrong, because he's up into 7th place. Vint Cook with a little bit of a slow exit there. Kittelman will also go through. Van der Nesse will be next. Just wondering where, yeah, Jensen Adjinson's in 15th place. He's leader of the amateur championship. Tolman's just got ahead of Broomfield as well. You can see how they're all quite close. Laubish might be past Broomfield as well soon. A lot happening, because you can click on the link in the description below. One of the links takes you to a web page which shows you all the live timing. Shows you the gaps between the drivers, of course the positions of the drivers, their best lap times, their last lap times, all that stuff. So do click on that, and that's provided by SDK Gaming. Of course, it's pretty much the stuff that we use up in the commentary box to tell us what is happening out on circuit. Chris Van der Nesse, meanwhile, he's up into 9th place. Van der Nesse actually had a good race 1, which I'm sure he'll be absolutely crying his eyes out, because he always starts at the front in the race twos, does Van der Nesse, whether it's a big reverse grid or a small one. Ooh, as Laubish, oh, this is danger time. He's up into 13th, unless the BMW tries to come back. No, just smart driving there from Broomfield, who is a very competitive driver, of course, Broomfield. I mean, he is has the right to fight these drivers. Oh, that's all over the curve, and that's good news for Danny Lee. He picks up a place there on Jensen Adjinson's, and Adjinson's going to lose out to Ving Glenn. And, oh no, there's contact between the two of them. Adjinson's got nowhere to go, and he's got a big hold up there, but Ving Glenn has had the worst of that. He's got a bit of damage from that as well. Can we see well, actually maybe see a replay in a moment, because it's still kicking off, because Jensen Adjinson's, he had everything going his way, with Burke having the pit stop, of course, in the early stages. All of a sudden it's starting to go a little bit sour for him. He's quickly lost a lot of places as, oh, he's off into, what's another close state to California? Oregon. He's off into Oregon. It's John Chessiter there, who started from 27th place, but yeah, that was not the line that he needed. Tom Brown as well with a poor start. Don't know what happened to Brown, but it's up into 19th because of that error. Oh, as there goes Spear. Oh, this is turning into the duel of the century. The duel in the desert, if you will. I know that term's already been coined, but we can copy it, because this is remarkable from Tom Collins. I mean, he is a good driver, is Tom Collins. He is up 4 places from his start, and Beer will be just infuriated because, you know, he is a groovy guy, but he feels like he could win this race. Oh, that's wide for the BMW, and that's it. So, maybe it was the pressure of the camera that got to him, because Beer is up into 3rd place, and he's got 4.5 seconds to catch up to Adjinson's out in the lead. That is possible. He can totally make that up in the remaining stage, but Adjinson's is going very quick. I'm not sure if the Ferrari is necessarily the car to be in around this circuit, as far as I know, which isn't a lot. Lee momentarily got ahead of Broomfield, but he's back behind Broomfield, so 14th and 15th are those drivers. Prescott is under huge pressure, here we go, because Crouch, oh, that's, he thinks someone's going wide there, but of course they're fine. Wow, that's really going defensive, and he's wide here. Crouch does, well, he did a good job initially. Oh, that's an unsafe rejoin. Well, it's kind of an unsafe unjoin? I know, he just drove off the circuit there, Prescott. But Leander's back on now. See how the drivers approach. You can see how we so many bunches of drivers, and actually that's going to be Thompson gets him past Chadwick there. Good work from Mr. Andy Thompson. He's up 5 places from his start. Good start actually, and yeah, Chester's up 8, despite that wide moment at the hairpin. But yeah, I'm not sure if that was Crouch's fault, to be fair. That incident he had with the other driver. Who was it? It was Prescott, wasn't it? He went off the track. Pow! No, it's all right. I thought he flashed up red. But he's just having a momentary off there. Maybe just going through this tricky right-hander for the drivers. Newman can see a championship in his way is Kevin Kittelman. If it ended like this, I believe Newman would take the lead of the championship. It would be so close though. Now, of course, the lead of the championship doesn't really mean that much. It's all about how many points you can get. I mean, don't focus on what's happening to the others. It's all about scoring the most amount of points you can across the season. And with it being Long Beach, I mean, we think of the incidents we're going to have at Long Beach. It could so easily change, but you know, it's still something that Newman wants, I'm sure. And Laubish up into 10th place. And is looking very, very quick out there. Nicholas Laubish, who made so many mistakes at the start of the season, he should really be well cleared in the championship, because certainly in the early part of the season he had the pace on everyone. Apart from his teammate Nessov, he had the pace on everyone. But just made too many mistakes, missed a couple of rounds as well, to be fair. And has had some hard work to do in the last few rounds to close in what was, at one point, about an 80-point, 100-point gap even. But he is looking good, as here comes the overtake from Newman. Kittelman leads him room. Can Newman make this one stick? Should be Newman's upper hand here, but he's got to be super careful of the contact. He is passed though. And every move is going to be that tricky around this Sonoma Raceway. There's not going to be an easy one. I think the race win, probably off the cards. He's already 13 seconds off the lead. And this is unusual to see these top guys be out of the race lead contention, as past goes Laubish as well. So Newman will be infuriated. Kittelman's held him up for 3 laps there. Hasn't held him up for 3 corners. The Laubish. So it's Newman up into 8. Laubish though on his tail. To be fair, I think if you're Laubish, you've got to be pretty grateful just to follow Newman home here and take out the points from Lee and Fulini. But, well, I'm sure Laubish won't look at it like that. He will see that course in racing driver as another couple of points. Lee off the circuit in an unusual spot there. That's, you know, it wasn't a place where you're usually off the circuit. So Lee with a slight excursion, I think, there. Although he hasn't lost any time from it, at least. James Crouch now at the front of, it's not really a train, because Crouch should have the pace to pull away. And in fact, well, yeah, that last lap was a bit rubbish from Crouch. 1 minute 9.4. It's comparing to Matthias Spear in 3rd place, and a 1 minute 8.7. Crouch would be hoping to be matching Beer. I mean, I'd say they're two very evenly matched drivers. Crouch, of course, who won race 1 at Montreal, got pole position. It's been an up and down season for Crouch. Maybe the mixed amounts of practice he's been able to put in for each round, and maybe it's partially down to the Ferrari, but it's had some highs, but mainly consistent on the most part. What's this lap for him? 1 minute 9.2. Thought he'd have a bit more pace than this, and the drivers are starting to queue up behind Van der Nesse, Newman, Laubisch, Kitzman as well. Dean Powell momentarily was ahead of Collins there on our timing tower, but I didn't really see how that was the case. There he is anyway. Of course, Powell representing Colbek Systems. And big thanks to Colbek once again for sponsoring this series. Beer is off the circuit just ahead. You just saw him there. It's all right. Yeah, thanks to Colbek Systems for sponsoring this series. And if you're looking to get easy discounts on everything that runs your business IT, go check out colbek.co.uk/iRacing. There goes Powell. It's using the power of Colbek to move up into 4th position. If you go to colbek.co.uk/iRacing, by the way, you can vote for your driver of the day. The Indy Autosports drivers recently, because there's so many of them, they've been voting for one another. So don't vote for them, guys. Vote for someone else. Even though they are currently 1-2 in this second race of the evening, to be fair, so it'd be quite tricky to vote for someone else, to be fair. But yeah, maybe Laubisch. I think Newman's driven well today as well. Well, make your voice be heard, because the winners of that do get a medal to get sent to them, which is pretty cool. And also, of course, Colbek also provides some prize money. So the top pro driver from each race gets 12 quid. And the top, and then second place gets like 8, and then third place gets 6, I think, or something like that, or 4. And then the amateurs, I think it's 642, which, you know, is a decent amount of money when you've got 24 races. So some of these drivers have made up their entry fee and more. With the money they have been earning. Of course, that's all made possible by Colbek, so massive thanks to them. Brent Cook is going to be overtaken here by Danny Lee, who's, I don't know, just qualifying wasn't very good for him. A poor lap 1 in race 2. It's not been a bad evening, and of course, compared to Fulini, who's down in 25th place right now, this is going very well for Lee. But he is going to lose points to Newman and Laubisch, and does run the risk of Newman and Laubisch going past, you know, Powell, Collins, Crouch, Van der Nesse, and they might just be held up behind because he's a few seconds behind those drivers. It's not be too bad. It's 3 seconds to Laubisch, but still, Lee would be in a good spot going into Long Beach if it ended like this. There's Kevin Kitzman. 3rd place out of the amateur category. In fact, it's the top 3 in the amateur category for Indy Autosport at the moment, which is an impressive achievement for them. I think Jensen Atkinson's just got past Brown, I think. No, Brown got past Bingham, I think. There you go. Yeah, they're fairly close to one another. So, nice work. So you move up into 16th place. It is close in the lead. Gosh, I didn't realise how close it was. I thought Dara was all right. I wonder if you could see the lap time charts between... Well, I mean, we'd need like 3 dimensions or something in order to show all 3 drivers. But yeah, that's just been going down slightly, hasn't it? What about Tabia? Yeah, there you go. Wow, 9/10 a couple of laps ago. So remember, Beer was held up behind Dean Powell for a while. And now, he can sense a race win. And I wonder if Indy Autosports will be a little bit annoyed that maybe it's Dara ahead of Drew, because I mean, to be fair, at the start of the season, Dara was looking awesome. He was really the favourite for the amateur title after the first few rounds because he was really driving well, and considering his inexperience as well, as Beer goes for the outside move, considering his inexperience, Dara says, I really thought he'd take the championship. It hasn't actually turned out that way, because he had a very poor kind of meeting 6 to 9. Really, the last 5 meetings have just gone down the drain for him. Becker, meanwhile, has really been probably the fastest amateur driver, honestly, since the mid-stage of the season. Daniel Lee's just moved past Kitzman up into 10th. But, yeah, Becker's been really the fastest driver out of the amateur drivers since the mid-part of the season. So maybe it would have been better for Becker to be leading, but after all, you know, it was Dow who got past at the start, and he's been able to maintain it since then. At least they can work together, and Becker will be trying to shield his teammate from the attacks behind. It is super close with Newman. Newman is that awkward right-hander, and that's what I'm calling it now, the awkward right-hander, as Laubich has nearly got past. Basically, Newman's really good around that cut through. Every time he seems to have an opportunity to pass into the hairpin, and on that time he was like 1/10 of a second behind, as Beer has got up into second place. There he goes. Apologies for myself dragging the action away, but Beer is up into second. I think Van der Nette's just crashed. Oh! Well, get out whatever John Chester had, because can't get out of tight barriers on the best of days. I mean, he's died here. I mean, this is a death we've seen here. I mean, that's inside. I wonder if we could go on the onboard with Van der Nesse, see if he is being impaled by some tyres. But this is a scary shunt, and this is when we need the halo, really, to save these drivers. Gets the tap, and then. Oh, I mean, the tyres go invisible, to be fair, so it's not totally clear, but, yeah, you've just seen a man die there. It's Van der Nesse. He's towed back to the pits anyway. So, end of the day for him. Good news for Fulini, who goes up into 21st place. So, halfway through this race, and it's Matthias Beer, who is looking really good for a second race winner of the season. These guys, at the moment, are 7 seconds ahead of Crouch. They are 8 seconds ahead of Newman. I'd say they're kind of the main rivals. 1 minute 9.2. You can see the times come up on the timing tower. What's Newman doing? 1 minute 8.4. So about a second a lap faster. So Beer, he's probably got 10 minutes to make this move. So he's got time. I don't think he should rush it too much. But he does need to make that move eventually. Interesting that some of these guys, it seems like oh, here comes Beer. Oh, here we go. It seems like some of the more top drivers seem to be taking more of that curve, which makes sense. It's a bit like final corner at Watkins Glen, where you're willing to risk it a bit more, you know, where you've got a bit more confidence than the others, and you feel confident that you can absolutely max it out every single lap. I wonder if that's the case, because these guys just a little bit tighter some of these corners. Oh, here comes Beer. There's nearly contact between the two of them. Now, this part of the circuit we're seeing overtaking really come at a premium, and I mean, speaking from experience, it is so tricky to make a move up the hill. I mean, you can mug the opponent, but you can see how narrow it is there. Even if you're much faster, it's tricky, and actually Hutchinson's just playing a bit of a gap on that last lap. They're into the mid 1 minute 9s. So they are losing over a second a lap now to the chasing pack. Danny Lee, 1.3 seconds faster than these guys. The top 8 separated by 7 seconds at the moment. And whilst it may not look too close at the moment, I can assure you, if this continues for too much longer, we are going to see some mighty battle for the race win. Crouch as well, right on the time. I mean, we'll stick with these top 2 because this could change any moment. And if Beer did get into the lead, he would be the heavy favourite for the win. As Adjinson's is a little bit out of shape, he's going to have to go defensive here into the hairpin if he's going to hold on to this race lead. He does go defensive, and Beer with the only choice to go round the outside. In the background, Becker doesn't seem to be too interested in helping out his teammate. Come on, Drew, get in there and help out your doubles teammate. There you go, that's a fun. And he can really help Indie Autosports out here. But Beer, again, round the outside, no. Adjinson's was particularly late on the brakes there, and he feels confident he can't be overtaken around this part. Wasn't actually a bad lap there. I thought Adjinson's was a little bit slower, but, you know, Laubich, an 8.1. 1.3 seconds faster. The gap's coming down, and look at these guys. Crouch, Neiman, Laubish, 3 fastest drivers on track. And look at, well, Laubish is all over the place, isn't he? Crashed there. But meanwhile, there goes Crouch up the inside. No, he hasn't pulled it off. I thought Crouch had that one. Oh, now he's going to go for it. But how did James not pull that one off? I know we kind of pulled away there, but like he had the inside line. Just going deep onto the brakes, but he couldn't make it stick. Now that's Collins is really holding up these guys, and the gap is still at 6 seconds as they go defensive again. Adjinsons at the moment only facing Charles, as Laubish has got ahead of Newman. Laubish getting ahead of Newman. Oh, it's super close, and they're side by side now. This is huge for the championship, and it's Laubish who is ahead, and Newman just could not get past Crouch because Crouch is too fast himself. As Newman thinking about the move, Crouch has to get past immediately. It's a ticking bomb because Beer will pass Adjinsons eventually. He's been so close. As here we go, this is it. Beer move into the lead. Now has to fend it off from Adjinsons. He goes the long way round. Look how close Powell is to these drivers as well. Adjinsons will try to carry speed around the outside, but it's not happened for him. And Mateus Beer up to second place. As look at the move from Newman. But he couldn't do it. I told you he was good around that part of the circuit. And he nearly managed to retaliate against Laubish. What a battle we're seeing. And the top 3 in the championship are line astern. It's Laubish who's 3rd place in the championship, as Becker's just moved past Adjinsons. That's a swap between teammates. So they feel like Becker's the man who's got the best chance of battling the race leader. As there goes Laubish. This is huge again. Every overtake matters here. But Crouch is holding on. He's got a better exit. Look at Collins, who is undoubtedly the half a second slower than these 4 guys. But they're battling each other so much. Tom Collins for Team Lizard Motorsport having a terrific time, and Crouch is sliding. Tyres could be a problem around this track, and this is absolutely mega. The stakes are so high as they're all running wide. There goes Newman again. Is he going to be passed? These guys have changed places about 3 times in the past 3 kilometers. But here comes Newman up the inside. Laubish is going to be tight on the exit. He's over the curb. Newman will fancy his chances around the outside. Usually it's Newman who has the advantage, or the car on the outside there who has the advantage. And now Crouch gets away. And the gap to the lead goes back up to 7 seconds. So these guys, as there goes Lee. There goes Powell. Well, he's got past. I'm not sure Adjinsons will be happy with that. And Adjinsons has scored for 4th. As Lee might be able to get past Newman here. Top 2 in the championship. And Lee is passed after being 5 seconds behind earlier on in the race. He has been able to get past, and probably that is for the championship lead right there. Lee back up into 8th position. But really, this is just 1 point here, 1 point there. They're not fighting for the big places where the difference between the points opens up to 4 or 5 points. These guys are just fighting over 1 point. Yeah, like I said, 1 point here, 1 point there. So remarkable racing, and this is what we want to see from these judges. This is how we want the titles to be decided, not by results with us trying to calculate the maths, just them beating each other on the circuit. So Laubish now back onto the back of Crouch, but Crouch has defended very well so far. He defended from Newman for a long period of time. Now he's having to do the same against Laubish. Oh, they're so slow. And here comes Laubish. It's a carbon copy of the last lap, but Laubish is a little bit more alongside. But Crouch has the shorter line, of course. And he stays ahead, almost escorting his rival into the barrier. But then goes Laubish again. Crouch did leave him room, but he couldn't get past. And now look at Lee, who could, after being simply bottom of the championship contenders at 1 point in this race, he could be at the top here. And maybe I'd say, is it worth the risk? It certainly is, because Laubish is well and truly in this championship hunt, as there's a lot of contact now between the two championship protagonists as Lee goes wide and Newman might be past here as Crouch tries to get past as well. Lee has held on to that position, but there goes Nicholas Laubish storming through with the undercut there, and he is past. How they didn't make contact there, and now Lee will try to make a way through as well. Lee's going to be boxed in here, and Newman storms around the outside, and Newman's back ahead. This is incredible racing we're seeing here at Sonoma. I thought race 1 was so clean that we were going to see an absolute bad storm in this second race. Anything but. This is the race of the season so far, one of the best races of Apex Racing League GT. And I know this is just for 5th down to 9th at the moment, but the stakes are absolutely huge. And it's Newman back ahead of Lee now. But of course the bad news for those guys is that Laubish has nearly cleared all these guys. And Collins hasn't actually been defending that hard. Here comes Laubish up the inside. And this would set him free to chase after the cars ahead. That BMW might have good drive here, but Laubish has got the better line, and he is past. And up to the top of this. Mighty drive from Nicholas Laubish. He was near the back of this train at one point, but he now is able to get his way through. Look at Newman and Lee. Crouch going for the move. He's finally going to get it done. And maybe the floodgates are opening now for Tom Collins. He defended so well for so many laps, but all of a sudden, he's just been put offline, and a couple of drives have got past in quick succession. Close for the lead, by the way, but we'll stick with these guys because it is, yeah, this is where the battle's going on. And, yeah, Newman needs to, oh yeah, it's obvious, isn't it? Needs to get past. These guys now, by the way, are 10 seconds off the lead. These are the championship leaders, and they're losing half a second a lap to Beer and Becker. Becker, an amateur driver. That's how much time they're losing each other, but, you know, who cares? Because they need to beat one another. It's not about how far up they get. It's about whether or not they beat each other. That's the only thing that matters here. So, good on them for battling quite this hard. So yeah, Crouch of course passed, and now Newman, he waited a while behind Tom Collins. The problem is he's still having to go defensive against Lee. Oh, why go? Oh well, we've got Andy Thompson in the middle of the track there, lap down. And what has happened here? Oh, has he been hit here by? Is that Brian Crone? Yeah. Ouch. I think Andy may as well tow back to the pits there, to be honest, from that position. Because that car's not going to be in good shape. Going to need the faster pair. Beer's got damage, yeah. And look how close Powell is as well. Now, when did this happen? Oh, they're really slow now. Wow, could Laubish win this race here? Because you can see him just in the background in the red car. Beer's had a poor first sector on this lap. I think... Well, no, it was at the back end of the last lap. Oh, my goodness. Well, Beer, he won at Donington. I think he's just thrown away. Oh, so it was Thompson who reversed back, and he's damaged both of the front two. Remarkable stuff. And Beer's into the pits. He had a meatball, and I know everyone can't see it, but my hands are on my head. Because Mateus Beer has earned that race win so well. And unfortunately, it's been taken away from him right there. And it's now Becker in the lead, but with damage, remember. And Dean Powell, who I want to win this race because Powell's had a rubbish season inside half the races from the pits. It'd be quite cool to see him finally take a win, which he's never done in this series. Becker is on for his second race 2 in a row, after never winning a race in the past. But, of course, Adkinson's still there in 3rd, and Laubish catching up to these guys in 4th. Crouch still ahead of Collins, obviously. He's still ahead of Newman and Lee. He just cannot clear. You can see how close Newman is in the background there, but he can't get past. Well, this Sonoma race 2 is living up to the billing right now, because this is extremely extremely close. And third to final race of the season, of course, we've got 2 races at Long Beach next week, and then that will be the end of the season 4. The previous champions, of course, Tom McMahon. If he's won. Hang on, who won season 1? I need to go have a look in the record books of that. But certainly Tom McMahon with a couple of titles in the past. Yeah, we will have a new champion for this season, undoubtedly. Apologies to those who rely on me knowing the stats. So Becker, what was his last lap time? His pace is good. His pace is good as Becker. So he's back in the 1:09s, which on the age of tyres that these guys are on, it seems like the whole field is going a bit... Oh, I think Crouch has just hit the wall there. Crouch got unsettled. I mean, he's hit the wall, undoubtedly, there. But I thought he hit the wall earlier on, to be fair, so I could be wrong. Here comes Lee. The top 2 in the championship are again alongside. Can Lee make this one? Oh, he's going to run wide, surely, and Newman has the better line. Well, Lee just driving that one in a bit deep. I think he had the position there to actually break a bit earlier. And as Powell's taken the lead, Dean Powell leads as his teammate Daniel Lee tries to put on a move. As wide goes Collins. Oh, Collins has just given them a position here. Well, at least Newman's got past, but Lee could not. But Dean Powell leads here at Sonoma and is on course for his first ever win in Apex Racing League GT. Laubish, though, up into 3rd place. He can start the chase on these drivers. He's just got past Dara Adjinson's. And can he set his sights? There is Laubish just in the background. You see a replay of Powell making that move. I wonder if it was into the hairpin, or probably out of the hairpin. I imagine it seemed like he made that overtake. I mean, if he's gone for it from here, then this warrants a race win. He did just wait behind. Oh, way too early on the power there, Rebecca. And we saw a similar mistake earlier on from... apologies. I'm not sure who it was, actually. Brent Cook. It's Brent Cook who made that similar mistake. Just on the power too early there, and then, of course, most tries to think, it's just a bit of grass. But around here, of course, it's a wall, so you have to actually get out of the dots on. But Powell in the lead of the race, gosh. But, of course, Albish did gain by a second. We've only got 5 more minutes of this race. It's absolutely flown by. And honestly, one of the best races I can recall on Apex Racing TV, because the battle for the lead has been so good, the battle for the championship has been so good. It's really been all over the place. Lee, by the way, got past Collins. Oh, crap! James, you're not meant to hit the wall. I think that one's maybe just done it for James Crouch, because, yeah, that's it. He's got too much damage on that, and he's going to have to return to the pits. And but if first time doesn't happen, and second time doesn't happen, third time will. To be fair, I think the first time was just my mistake, but the second time he definitely hit the wall, and that time he walloped the wall, and he will come into the pits. That's amazing news for Newman and Lee, because Crouch, they wouldn't have passed Crouch, so that's just a free couple of points for them. And limits the damage they're going to face against Newman. I wonder if Fulini will get past. Fulini up into 15th place, by the way, and apologies to everyone who's been battling further down the order. I'm sure there's been some nice battles, but, you know, we've been watching a mighty battle for the race lead, and also a mighty battle for the championship lead as well in this penultimate meeting of the season. Crouch is ahead of Fulini. They've both had to make a pit stop, of course, but Crouch is marginally ahead, as Vin Glenn, who would have been featuring, wouldn't he? Probably been fighting for the lead, to be fair, at this point, Glenn, because he had a great pace in race 1. He can't get past Prescott, though. I thought he had him there, as Brown actually just moves past. Brown, of course, winner, back at Interlagos. Boy, does that feel like a while ago, round 2 of the championship. But he has just made that move now on Vin Glenn. So the lead battle then is 1.3 seconds between Powell and Becker. But Powell is in the mid 1:09s. He's actually just slumped into the mid 1:09s, as Laubish is going for a move for second position here. He has to make it now. Oh, he's round the outside. He's got the inside of the next corner. Lovely move there from Nicholas Laubisch. He's up into second place. And from looking like he had no business battling for the race win, he might just get a second double of the season. He did it at Sebring, but in totally different circumstances, of course. I mean, then he got it comfortably, frankly. He was in the lead of race 2 by about lap 5 of the race. This time, if he's going to do it, it's going to be on the last lap, I think. We've got 2 more laps to go after this, as Collins is, well, I mean, if anyone's looking for some home security, could get Tom Collins, because he does not let anything fall under his nose. He is defending like absolutely mad. That's a terrible analogy, and I've forgotten why. I thought it made sense. In hindsight, it didn't. But basically, Tom Collins has defended very well tonight, and Kevin Kitzelman is trying to get past him. Jensen Adjinson's up there in 11th place. Could be amateur championship leader after this round if it ended like this. Powell losing 0.6 of a second to Laubisch. The gap is 0.9 of a second. But also Cook's had a problem. Oh no, Brent. Oh, shame. Well, he's still going, to be fair. Will Fulini get past? It'll be fairly close. No, Fulini's just a bit too far behind, although Cook seemingly having about 50-second slowdown. There, he slowed down a lot. Wow. Well, this is huge. If Laubisch could make this move, the gap for the championship would be like 2 points. As look at Newman as well. He wants to get past Adjinson's. Fulini's had an off. Oh, Mattea, you've driven really well after a problematic first lap, and that is Fulini throwing away a couple. Well, I don't know, maybe it was someone else's fault, but he's lost a few points there. Here we go though, and this could be pivotal for the championship, because Nicholas Laubisch would get an extra 7 points if he could get this move done, and maybe even take the lead of the championship with only 1 meeting of the season to go. He is right on the tail of Dean Powell, who's going for his first ever win in Apex Racing League GT. But here comes Laubisch. He's round the outside. Powell up the inside through the chicane. And Laubisch actually a little bit offline there. He's going to be a bit struggling around this part of the circuit. The 2 hairpins are going to be the opportunity for Laubisch, who is right on the tail. Powell's going to have to go defensive here. Laubisch was desperate to go up the inside, but he couldn't make it work. Now he storms round the outside. He could just have the advantage here, could Laubisch, and he is getting his car ahead. Powell, though, round the outside, into the S as they go, and he is defending for all he's worth. Remember, his teammate, Daniel Lee, is going for the championship, as he's going to go defensive again. Laubisch, round the outside, he'll have one last opportunity into the hairpin. Powell's got to cover it off down the inside. He does cover it off, but Laubisch is deeper on the brakes. It's been a stunning race too at Sonoma, and it's going to be a stunning end, because we're going to have a run to the line. Laubisch with the shorter run to the line here. He approaches the finish, and it's Nicholas Laubisch. He takes the double at Sonoma in a simply incredible race right there. He beats Dean Powell, who doesn't claim his first ever race win, and Laubisch, who got pole by 7/1000ths of a second. He takes the race 2 win by 4/100ths of a second in an absolute classic in Apex Racing League GT. Becker wins out of the amateur drivers. Fulini is trying to just recover whatever he can, but it wasn't meant to be after a rubbish lap 1. He will be 4th in the championship after tonight's round in 17th place. Newman was able to get past Adjinson's. So that is big for Newman. He was able to put a car between himself and Daniel Lee, and going into the final meeting of the season, Nicholas Laubisch, Dean Powell and Sven Newman are going to be essentially neck and neck on points. It was close beforehand. It is even closer after tonight at Sonoma. And Nicholas Laubisch, delighted with that one. I'm sure we'll get an interview with him in a moment's time. With an incredible race win right there. And well, just the final couple of drives to cross the line. I think Bandonette still got most of the lap to complete. A reminder once again of a couple of our sponsors: Apex Racing Academy, Virtual Racing School, and SDK Gaming. But we do have the results actually ready. So there is Laubisch in the closest finish. I've seen in Apex Racing League GT, that race literally had it all. And hopefully you enjoyed it. If you didn't, then I don't know what he's playing at. He beat Dean Powell. Jude Becker finishes in 3rd place on top of the amateur drivers, really delivering on the pace that he's had all season long. I do wonder though, if Becker hadn't lost the lead at the start, could it have been a 2nd race win of the season for him? Still a good podium. Sven Newman finishes in 4th position. Then it was Dara Atkinson's Danny Lee championship lead. A couple of underwhelming results for Danny, but he drove well. But he maybe could have been a bit more decisive with the overtakes. But I imagine we'll have an interview with him as well. Tom Collins defended so well for so much of the race. He ended up in 7th place. Kevin Kissman, Jensen Adjinsons, and Stephen Bloomfield round out the top 10. Jensen Adjinsons now with one hand on the title. Matthias Beer finishes in 11th. Then it was Michael Tolman, Brent Cook, James Crouch, Mick Palach, Tom Bingham, Matteo Fulini, whose championship hopes have taken a huge hit. I mean, he hasn't won a race all season. He pretty much needs to win both races at Long Beach in order to recover it from here. Chris Prescott was in 18th. Then it was Vin Glenn, Tom Brown, Brian Crone, John Tressida, Chris Van Den Esse, Dave Chadwick, Sean Simpson, Andy Thompson, and Steve Burke, who will not score points. And I unfortunately for Steve, that's probably the end of his championship hopes. He's led a couple of rounds, hasn't he? I mean, everyone in the amateur field has led a round or two, but yeah, I feel bad for the Team Lizard driver who has just been on a really bad run of form, particularly in the race 2s for the final few races. So we will have an interview with our race winner now, Nicholas Laubish. Congratulations, Nicholas. You may not be able to appreciate it from the cockpit. I'm sure you'll have an idea, but that was literally one of the best races I've ever commentated on. And you were in the middle of all of it. First up, race 1. That was tense because Matteo was pushing you all the way, but that qualifying by 8/1000ths of a second, I think that probably decided it.
Yeah, the qualifying was extremely close. The first 3 guys were in, I think, 300 or even less. I knew it's gonna be a hard race, and it's, I think, all about tire saving a bit, because you can't overtake anywhere around here, especially when you're having sort of the same setup. There's no chance to overtake anywhere. So the qualifying is even more useful in here, and yeah, you just have to manage a tire wear, but it's extremely hard around here.
Yeah, it looked tricky. And then in that race 2, you're battling with Dean Powell and Sven Newman, who of course are your championship contenders. That battle seemed to ebb and flow because one moment one of you got ahead, then the other got ahead. I mean, have you ever been in a battle like that? Because, I mean, you were saying how tricky it was to overtake, and yet with the way that the traffic was working, you guys were overtaking each other almost every corner.
Yeah, it was impossible to overtake that one Ferrari. I had to wait for him to make any mistake, otherwise I would have no chance. He was so fast on the straight, and I'd say the last corner is the best opportunity to overtake someone, but he was so fast before, so I had no chance at all to overtake him there. And then I made some small mistakes, or someone in front was a bit slower than I expected in some corners. So Sven was also very close to me, and it was just an incredible race. Especially the last lap was, yeah, that was really exhausting. I'm sweating so much right now, but in the end I won with 300s, and that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, were you? Do you think the nerves affected your driving at all? Because it seemed like you were faultless in those final few laps, but like, did you have sweaty palms? Were you shaking at all? I mean, how was it?
I was full focus. I didn't realize anything other than these 3 screens. I was just concentrating on somehow catching Dean and Drew. And yeah, I was always very sweaty, from the beginning, 24th in this track with a 1 minute track time. It's extremely hard to somehow be faster than other guys. Yeah, and overtaking is even harder, and then the tires are getting very worn, and you don't have any grip anywhere. It's just an intense track and an even more intense race.
We've got one more round of the championship to go, and I've just loaded up the points to our software, so I will enlighten you to what the situation is. And it's good news for yourself because I believe for the first time this season you are in the lead of the championship. You've gone up 3 places
Yay.
tonight, so you're on 1046. Newman's on 1043. And then you got Danny Lee on 1037, Violin on 1021. So, Long Beach next. Have you ever driven these GTE cars around that circuit?
I was driving a lot of GT3 around them, but in the start, let's say the last turn, lap 1 is extremely hard with a lot of traffic jams. So especially in the second race, you really have to look out that you're not driving into someone in front because you're pretty much standing at the start there. And therefore, it's going to be very hard to somehow overtake anyone who was not who wasn't that fast in the first race. So I think it's going to be pretty hard to keep Sven and Danny away from me. But yeah, let's see the last race on Belle Isle. What was it? Belle Isle? No, Detroit.
Long Beach.
Long Beach, yeah. That's gonna be incredibly hard.
Yeah, undoubtedly. But congratulations, Nicholas, on a brilliant double race win tonight. Is there anyone you'd like to go shout out to?
Of course, thanks to our sponsors, HP, Huawei, Heineken Media, and of course, thanks to the team Urano.
Awesome. Well, best of luck for the season finale. Nicholas, hopefully it turns out well for you. We'll see you in a week's time. Nicholas Laubish there, your race winner, and for the first time this season, your championship leader. So we've got a few more interviews. We'll try to... we should have time to get through all of them, I think. Danny Lee will be next to have a chat with us. Daniel, what are your emotions like after that one? Because, of course, you were beaten by your championship rivals in both races, but considering how tight the racing was there, you must be pleased just to, get through those 2 races without a crash, because it was some very close quarters racing.
Yeah, the racing itself was actually just exquisite. There was so much going on. It was more like touring cars or GT3 than, probably the more gentlemanly GTE. But it was a bit like having a really expensive dinner when you don't know how much things cost until the end. And then your eyes drop at the bill. It was great racing, but it come at a big sort of just a general cost to what could have been. I've been practicing so much for Sonoma, but I think I've been practicing too much and got burnt out, peaked too early. So I was gunning for pole here, and that just did not happen for whatever reason. Just didn't hook it up.
Yeah, on that last lap, we saw you go for a last lap in qualifying. Were you going to improve on that? Because it seemed like you were just like 5 seconds short of reaching the line.
No, I wasn't going to improve on it. The time I had was pretty much all I had in the tank, and because only 3 tenths off pole, but to be 6 because of that just shows you how tight it is at the top. And Vin Glenn made a mighty defense of his position at the start, which it would have been really useful to get past him, but he fought me for it tooth and nail. So I had to somehow get around him. I'm not sure what happened in the end. I think he might have either outbraked himself or he was just overheating in his sim chair, because it was absolutely really, really close fighting with him. So, props to him for that. But the quali lap wasn't going to be any better than that, and that's a bit of a surprise to me.
Yeah, but you did eventually get past Vin in race 1, and then race 2. I think you pointed to it earlier on. I mean, the racing was super close. Yeah, I mean, I asked Nicholas just before, have you ever been in a race like that? Because it seemed like one of you would get ahead, and then they'd get held up, and then they'd fall back, and then they'd come back again. It just seemed kind of really up and down.
Yeah, it really was like trying to pick a queue and I'm full of the analogies today, but it was like picking a queue at a supermarket, and the one you join doesn't go down as fast as the one you just left. So you keep on switching queues in the hope to get done quicker, and it wasn't working. I was backing the wrong horse. Every time there was a too wide kind of cluster going through a corner, I ended up backing the wrong horse. I got stuck behind Crouch, which gave a position back to Newman. All I wanted to do was be in front of Newman, because I knew that he, at that stage at least, he was the championship contender. I know that's changed now with Laubish's 2 wins, which, you know, has really, really spiced things up for the last round. But my word, it was just so close. I don't think I even saw the track once. I was just busy following people's, boots. That's pretty much all that was done throughout the race.
You spoke of the championship. Of course, yeah, Nicholas now at the top, Sven in second. You are 9 points off the lead. How do you rate your chances at Long Beach? Do you think that's going to be a strong one for you? Are you usually good around street circuits?
Not too much, because they tend to really punish my tendency to eat curbs. You know, we're just going to have to find out. I think there's no predicting. Long Beach is completely neutral to me. I'm neither good nor bad there, so we'll have to just see. It's going to have to be a good one. I'm going to have to be on the ball 100%, top of the game to beat Laubish and Newman. It's going to be a big surprise if I do that, but I'm definitely going to try.
Best of luck for it, Danny. Is there anyone you'd like to give any thanks to?
Just a shout out to Dean. I'm sure you might have him in for a word. What a gutting way to nearly get a race win. So he was doing so well. I saw his name at the top of the leaderboard. Just a shame, but he's going to come back again, I'm sure. But other than that, just thanks to you guys for the broadcast, the grid for being incredibly tough racers, and that's it.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Danny, and we'll see you in a week's time.
Cheers. Thank you.
Danny Lee there, third place in the championship, and a couple of top 5s tonight. Next up, we will have a chat with Danny Lee's teammate, Dean Powell, who joins us. And Dean, thanks for having a chat with us, because you must be feeling fairly disappointed right now. I was rooting for you throughout, so I was really hoping that you'd be able to get that first race win under your belt. It wasn't quite meant to be, but what a good race it was.
Such a cruel finish. I thought I had it, but there's a kink just on the back straight, just on the main straight, and I think I just lost it there. I think we kind of left the last corner kind of head in head, and I had a feeling I might have had it, but yeah, it just wasn't meant to be. But to be honest, I'm over the moon coming second. I didn't really kind of practice too much for this circuit. Maybe a 45-minute session during the week. So I came in like pretty green. I haven't been feeling too well today. I've been a bit poorly. So a really good result considering.
Yeah, we wouldn't have guessed, because you're absolutely hooked up in that race. There was a period in the race where you were kind of by yourself, where you had the championship leaders behind you, and then you had like the Indy Autosports guys just ahead, and then there was the bad rejoin from Thompson, I think it was, and that seemed to just ignite the race. I mean, what was going through your head when you saw that all kick off ahead of you?
I was kind of licking my lips. I was on the hunt after that. I think the guys in front maybe lost a couple of seconds. That kind of really brought me into contention. And the problem with kind of some of the kind of faster guys out there, they're always kind of on the chase. You know they're kind of on the prowl, and you can see them kind of eating away the seconds. So you're kind of fighting kind of battles on kind of both fronts. It's daunting, really.
Yeah, definitely. And next up, we got Long Beach. I mean, you performed very well here today. I mean, if a strong reverse grid place, you think that maybe that race win could go your way? Are you looking forward to that?
It's a pretty terrible circuit, to be fair. I'm expecting it. I'm expecting it will be a good watch though, but kind of terrible to race. I'll try and put a bit more practice in, so try and qualify in the top 10 maybe. And I shouldn't need the reverse grids to kind of be in contention. I should be doing better.
Well, best of luck for that final race of the season, Dean, and of course, bad luck on that run to the line. Was absolutely absolutely nothing in it. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to?
That'll be Danny Lee, my teammate, and Colbek for sponsoring.
Awesome.
I think it's my first bit of prize money as well.
Congrats. That is that'll
Party
be
hard tonight.
£8 heading your way.
Wow. 2 beers.
Yeah, there you go. Enjoy it. And yes, we'll see you back in 7 days.
Sam.
Dean Powell there, 2nd place. And I'll start on the win by a whisker. We'll have one last interview with Mr. Drew Becker, who, after entering probably like 50 odd Apex Racing League GT events, he nearly got his 2nd race win in 3 right there, but it wasn't quite meant to be, Drew. Yeah, bad luck out there on that one, but it it looked like a lot of fun. I mean, we can pretty much gloss over race 1 because I think you had a spin, it didn't go great, and you started and you finished 23rd place. But race 2 was absolutely craziness. I guess your first battle would have been with Mateus Beer and with your own teammate, I imagine, Mr. Dar Adjinsons, I imagine. I mean, that feels so long ago, to be honest, because so much happened out there.
It really does. Yeah, we don't talk about race 1. Bad showing, so I kind of figured at that point I was going to play for the reverse grid, which I think panned out pretty well. The whole time I was trying to push Dara as far up as I could, see if we could get some distance on everybody. But, 2nd week in a row where I've seen a Colbek car bearing me down, and as well as Matthias and, of course, Nicholas Laubish. Guys are just wicked fast and super hard to hold off. I thought I had a chance to kind of hold a little bit more off here, considering it's Sonoma and there's really only one good overtaking spot. But monster effort from really everybody, especially Dara. Dara was pushing super hard. We were just out here having fun.
If I recall correctly, you were involved in the incident where you had Thompson rejoin the circuit. How much damage did you get from that?
Yeah, so I was kind of, I think that was, after Matthias had kind of passed me, and I was kind of questioning whether I was up to the speed to kind of keep up with them, and ended up being right on its pace. And unfortunately, basically what you said, Thompson reversed into the hairpin, and just kind of hit both of us. I had some damage to the right front. At first, I wasn't sure if I was going to be fast enough, but I think it was still okay. Dean was quicker than me the whole time. He was just shaving seconds off every 4 or 5 laps. So him catching up to me was kind of inevitable. But it happens. Like, I've definitely been there. This is my 4th season in ARL, so I'm not going to dog on Andrew Thompson too much. It happens. Bad decisions are made, so I'm just glad. I think he finished at least, which is good. So, but it was fun. It was good fun.
Yeah, it sure did look like a lot of fun. We've had some fairly negative comments about Long Beach so far. Can you say that it's your favorite circuit in the world and you're really looking forward to it?
Absolutely my favorite circuit. Unfortunately, I've got a wedding to go to next weekend, so I won't even be able to finish the season. It's kind of the reason why I came on.
There's no excuse for you, frankly.
It's my cousin's. I gotta be best man, so I think he's actually watching. So shout out to Alex. But I would love to be there for the inevitable pileup at the hairpin, but I've got other places to be.
If Alex is watching, let Drew off. Let him have like a screen, COVID and that. It's not safe. It's not safe. Let him be with us and let him get another race win. Anyway, no, best of luck for that, Drew. I guess this is your last meeting of the season. In that case, it's been in my book, it's been a very good season for yourself. Many amateur race wins. You got that overall race win as well. You must be delighted with how this season's gone.
Very much. We've been kind of talking about it in Indy Autosport, and I think when we first joined, obviously we had the first couple guys, I think in the 2nd season that you guys ran, and it was just 2 people, but since then I think we've been 7, 8 people strong, and have made complete leaps and bounds from where we've been. So Just super proud of the guys, super proud of everybody. Put a lot of work into to kind of start competing with the guys at the top, and I think we're getting there.
Well, congratulations, G. Will we see you back for season 5?
I was actually about to ask. I want to be the first one to ask one of the signups because I know we posted all the memes about it last year. So, when are the signups?
5 weeks.
All right, I'll be there. I'll be out of the army. I'll have a full schedule. I can make the whole season. So let's go.
Awesome, champion, season 5 champion in here in the commentary box.
Ooh.
Thanks for having a chat with us, G. Is there anyone you'd like to go shout out to?
Just the team. Obviously, I kind of already gave him a shout out, but super proud of everybody so far. And then obviously you guys and the Colbek team for putting everything on. Honestly, the most fun season I've had so far, and really looking forward to the next one.
Awesome. Thanks for having a chat with us, Drew. And see you back in a few weeks' time.
See you guys then.
Drew Becker there. By the way, it's not 5 weeks till science. I don't know when science will open. But at some point in the future, there certainly will be a season 5 of the Apex Racing League GT Championship. That is all the drafts complete. Then for the interviews, I will just say what the championship standings are at the end of this round. So in the overall standings, we have got Laubish. Okay, I'll get rid of the 1000. So everyone's on 1000 and something. So that will make it easier to read. So Laubish 46, Neiman 43, Lee 37, and Fulini 21. Even Fulini very much in the hunt should he get a couple of race wins next time out at Long Beach. So it is all to play for. That final round of the season, meeting 12 of the championship, will be on at the same time next Sunday, where we will crown our brand new champion. It will be a first title for whoever manages to clinch it. Big thanks once again to Colbek Systems for supporting this series. If you are looking to improve your business IT, get discounts on any business software, do check out colbek.co.uk/iRacing, where you can also vote for your driver of the day. Also thanks to SDK Gaming for providing our overlay, and also to Apex Racing Academy and Virtual Racing School, which are absolutely the best driver tuition programs that you can buy. So do check both of them out. And massive thanks to them for helping us out on Apex Racing TV. I have been Sam Fitzpatrick. Operating the cameras tonight has been Sam Kume. We will see you next time out at Long Beach for the season finale. But for now, here at Sonoma, it is Nicholas Laubish with a double race win and the championship lead. We will crown our champion in 7 days' time. We will see you then.
Virtual Racing School was developed to provide support to the next generation of sim racers. No matter if you're a rookie or veteran or what car or track you'll be racing, our goal is to provide training every step of the way. We found that iRacing can be quite difficult without proper training. There needed to be a way to prepare for on-track racing. With VRS, you can literally learn from the best sim racers in the world, including 4-time NASCAR iRacing World Champion Ray Alfala.
And Ray Alfala is a 4-time champion of the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze iRacing Series.
3-time iRacing Grand Prix World Champion Martin Kroenke.
Martin Kroenke becomes a 3-time world champion.
Rallycross World Champion Mitchell de Jong.
Mitchell de Jong is now champion for the iRacing Rallycross World Championship Series.
And many other top sim racers. Data packs include everything you need to start learning. Our World Championship coaches create the data packs by setting a hot lap or a series of fast laps for you to compare, analyze, and replicate. Data packs also include a tutorial where the coach points out techniques they use to hit the fast lap. This gives you access to the latest driving techniques and setups before you even hit the track. Sign up for a free account and download the VRS telemetry logger. With this application running seamlessly in the background, your laps automatically start syncing to the VRS website. From there, you can analyze and compare 2 laps of your choice, whether it's your data, the coaches, or your teammates. VRS will automatically target improvement opportunities so you can get up to speed even faster. VRS also makes it easy for you to request and schedule one-on-one or group coaching sessions. These sessions can range from 30 to 90 minutes, and you can select the car, track, and setup combination of your choice. Visit virtualracingschool.com today to sign up and get started.